Hi and good evening. It is Tuesday, the 19th of April 2022. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm excuse me, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm based here in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It is Tuesday the 19th and it is our first day back after our Easter bank holiday weekend here in the UK. So it's just after 7 o'clock and I have a new stamp set to share with you this evening. And this was one that featured at Coffee and Card last Friday. And will feature at Coffee and Card in Toaster next Monday. Obviously we're slightly adrift as I didn't have a session yesterday as it was the bank holiday and most of the people were away. So let me introduce to you the Garden Greenhouse stamp set, which is this one here. Just trying to find me here, make sure that we are in fact as live as my system tells me I am. So this garden greenhouse set is a photopolymer set and the set itself is £21 and it also has some dies that go with it. The dies can be used separate to the stamps, and obviously the stamps can also be used entirely on their own. And the stamp set is £21 and it features, as you can see, this greenhouse. Now the dies that go with it have a different greenhouse. It's actually this one here. If I can show you on there, it has a 3D so a die cut greenhouse, and then there's a piece behind as well. But we're just focusing on the stamp set today. It has 4 sentiments, 1, 2, 3 and 4. My favourite one is probably this one, Hope Your Day is Just Right. I know it's a bit small for you to see. It's in a nice stylised font which has capitals and lowercase. We have Love Grows Here, Each Day is a New Beginning, and A Friendship Nurtured in Love Blooms Forever. And then we have this really pretty set of foliage, and then we have 4 small flowers. Hi Brenda. And then we have some more foliage here with some detail, and then another set of foliage here. Now the dies cut these out as well, but we're just going to be using the stamps today. So you can find it in our spring summer catalogue on page 28. It's called Garden Greenhouse and there's a lovely sample of it being used here. And let me show you the stamp that I did for Coffee and Card, which was this one here. So this is a standard sized card, and I did this one in landscape, and this one I done in portrait, and I featured the little daisy flower, and then I featured like this little tulip flower for this one. So it's a really easy set to use. As it's photopolymer, it's see-through, makes it really easy to place it on your card. And this foliage here has some stalks that end so that you can put whichever flowers you want on the top. Hi Joanne, you made it. And it's just notified me that it sent the Jemini Crafts message out to say that we're live. Oh dear, what fun. So this little stamp here actually fits in this gap here, but to be honest, you could just put any of these flowers on any of the stalks, or indeed really anywhere you like. So I'm going to start with a piece of basic white card. This is cut to 9.5 by 13.85, and I happen to have a piece of Soft Succulent cardstock, which I may use. I might change colours, but I may use this, and so that will enable me to either place this straight onto here, or it gives me a small border if I wanted to add some designer series paper or anything else. So I'll see how the colouring goes. I've got some other pieces of card that I can use. Let me just grab a small piece of grid paper. So I hope, Joanne and Brenda, you had a nice weekend. I have to say that I had a lovely weekend off. Although I was working Friday and Saturday, I did turn my computer off Sunday and Monday. There were things going around in my head, but I didn't do anything with them. Okay, so here is my basic white card, and I'm going to be using this greenhouse and some of the florals as well. So let's mount these up. So I'm going to pop this one on here. It's quite a nice size as well. Let me give you an idea of that size. If you're an inches person, it's about little over 2.5 inches high and a little over 3 inches wide. And for those of you that are in centimetres, that's 8 centimetres by 7 approximately. So it's a nice size, fits a card. It would be a bit of a squash on our note cards, I think, which is why I changed it to being on a standard size card. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this foliage stamp on there, just about fits on there. And then let's add this foliage here. Now, if you didn't spot my earlier post, which is quite possible, just to let you know that there's free delivery for orders placed on Thursday of this week. That is the 21st of April, 2 days time. So if there's anything on your wish list that you want to get with free delivery, the easiest way to do it is place an order yourself on the website during the day on Thursday. Okay, I'm just getting some smaller blocks out. If you know what you want, then you can always email me an order and I can place it for you on the Thursday and have it delivered straight to you in due course. Okay, just popping these ones on. I haven't really decided which ones I'm going to use as yet, and I haven't decided on my sentiment either. Okay, so I'm going to do this one vertically as well, and I'm going to start by stamping these across the bottom. And this idea was actually inspired by Bill Jeffries, who was at our coffee and card on Friday. So I've got Soft Succulent. Now the colour of your greenhouse really can be whatever you want it to be. So you could stamp it in a brown to look like wood. You could stamp it in a green, like a, you know, deep green, for example. I'm just stamping this to see what this ink looks like. That looks fine. I don't want it too dark, but I am going to introduce a matte like so. So I'm just going to re-ink this. So let's put one here. And then another one here. Hi Lynn. I hope you're feeling better. Let's have like so. I think. So that's my bit of foliage across the bottom. And then I'm going to add the greenhouse a little bit higher up like that. On the mend, bless you. Poor Lynn and her family have succumbed to COVID. So I think I'm going to try garden green for this greenhouse, just for a change. I'm just going to ink it up and stamp it. See what it looks like on my pattern, on my grid paper to start with. So I don't know if this is a set you've got, Lynn, or not. Okay, that works nicely. So because this is a bigger stamp, I'm taking the ink pad to the stamp and not the other way around. Like so. But it really does depend on the size of your block and your stamp. So I'm going to have this just a little bit higher than my foliage. Like so. Ooh, is that straight? Yes. It looked very wonky to me, but I think it is straight. Let's turn that over. Okay. And now I'm going to add some of the other foliage. Let me show you one of the other cards for anybody who has joined since the start. It is a very nice set, I have to say. So I've got 3 colours for my flowers. I've got Mango Melody, Melon Mambo and Gorgeous Grape, some nice bright colours. And I'm just going to dot those around like so. So we've got daisy and we've got a tulip shape. We've got 2 sort of tulip shapes. So let's let me show you those. So there's that one there. I'm going to put a couple of those in. And if you have got small stamps like this, I recommend you use the smallest block you've got, the closest to the size, just so that you don't pick up any additional ink, which is very easy to do when you've got a much larger block and a very small surface area. It's a surface area that hits the stamp. It's very easy to push that and obviously tilt it and get extra ink where maybe you don't want it. Right, so I've got this little daisy, so I can add this in. As I say, there are stalks that just end, but to be honest, I think you could put these flowers almost anywhere, which is exactly what I'm doing. And as I say, there is one here that actually has a hole that the flower can go into. Oh, hi Catherine, no worries. I'm not going to be long tonight. So this is Melon Mambo. So it's the dies that we're using for our class with this in April. But I wanted to show you the stamps as well. So it just fits in that little gap. I'm not sure whether you can see that or not. Let's pop that one in there too. So I've used that stamp, sort of one to the right and one to the left. Okay, and I think we can add a little bit more interest down here. Go. And let's pop some here. And I've got this one, which is a slightly different shape again. So it's like the other tulip, but just slightly different. So let's just pop that in here. And here. Okay, so you could have great fun filling in a lot more detail than this if you wanted to. And they're really useful little flower stamps that would be perfect for, I don't know if you've heard of tapestry stamp cards, where you have lots of tiny little stamps that you create an image from. Okay, so we've got our greenhouse. I think I might add a couple more daisies in there just to fill in this bit here. I'm going to put one in here because it's a bit, there we go. Happy with that. So I'm going to use a blending brush and some blue ink to add in some sky. And I have some Balmy Blue ink here. And just to give a little bit more cloud detail, I'm just going to use a scrap of paper. So this is Balmy Blue. It's my favourite colour for sky. Just taking some spare grid paper and I sort of want just a little bit of an edge. Actually, I can use that one there. So I'm going to ink up my blending brush. Make sure I'm taking any excess off. I don't want any harsh marks onto my sky background. And then I'm just going to do my circular motion, just going over this edge. Just to give a little bit more of a sort of cloud formation. If I lift that up, I'm hoping you can see that just about. It's really quite obvious to me, but I know that the translation doesn't always quite work when you're it's got a camera and that's going through my system and then it's going through your system. So there we have it. So I'll be featuring this stamp set this week. I've only got two days left, so tomorrow I've got another idea with this to go with some papers, and then on Thursday I will introduce some of the dies so you can see the effect that the dies have. Okay, so I'm now adding in the blue sky, and I'm going over the greenhouse. And if you do this, you just want to make sure that whatever you've stamped earlier has dried, like so. There we go. So I hope you can see that in a bit more detail. So hello to anybody else who's joined us. Do say hi if you'd like to. And I'm using the Garden Greenhouse stamp set from Stampin' Up to create this card. And at the moment I'm just using the blending brush for the sky and the background, Balmy Blue ink, and I've just taken a little strip of grid paper. Oh, hi Tracy, but you could use copy paper or something. It needs to be fairly thin. You could use a post-it note as well, and just pop that onto there, and adding a little bit into here, really just as much or as little as you want. And then I'm going to add a sentiment across the top. Just make a great card for a gardener, obviously, or somebody who likes visiting gardens perhaps. So I'm going to use that same sentiment that I like. Hope your day is just right. And that could be for a birthday or an anniversary. Let's just pop that. I've got this which I didn't use. Oops. And I'm going to use the green, the garden green that I use for the greenhouse, just to tie those in together. In my other sample I used early espresso here, and I've obviously done this in a portrait, but I've done this slightly differently thanks to an idea by Bill Jeffries. So I just want to ink this up and see how this stamps. So I know I haven't got a huge amount of ink in this ink pad. Like so. Hope your day is just right. And I think I could add a few birds onto there just to fill in that sky. So, oh, that's not what I was thinking. On the horizon has got these nice little birds here, so I'm just going to use that to fill in a little bit of that detail. So I can take that out of the way for the minute. So there's our card as it is. And you could, if you wanted to, use a blends pen just to colour in this the greenhouse, maybe the really light blue, or a very pale like soft sea foam, I'm thinking, just so that it's more enclosed. I might give that a go. So my stamp is attached to my sleeve. Let's pop some early espresso birds on here, and then I'll just try that. Make sure we've got the birds flying the right way. Like so. Just going to pop this underneath. So I've got a couple there, 3 in fact, and then let's have some here. Like so. There we go. Hope you can see that okay. So I'm just going to try that. And I'm just going to try it on this one here. It won't be quite the same because obviously it's not on my basic white card, but I'm going to give it a go. So this is Soft Seafoam Light. What I might do is just bring it in from the side, like so. So I'm not colouring the whole thing, but it gives the impression of being coloured in. Not being coloured in, of being solid. Does that make sense? So you can see that. And do the same on this side. So I'm using the wide tip and just brushing it in and dotting a little bit around the flowers. I don't want it to move those flowers too much. So going to do the same here. There we go. So it just highlights that. So yes, that just gives it a little bit more interest, I feel. Okay, so put that back in the right place. Now I can pop this onto a backing card and then onto a main card. So I did have Soft Succulent at the ready. I might switch that out. I might, oh, decisions. I might pop it onto Espresso and then Mambo, and I've got an odd piece of Espresso card here. Yes. Let me just have a look and see before I cut anything else. So I need to take that away because you can't see it. And I might pop that onto Melon Mambo card. Let's have a look and see. So it's like that. Or that. Or reverse those. That might be a good combination. Oh dear, I can't decide. That's what happens when you have a few days off, you see. Or I could just put it onto a white. Let me have a look at the white card. Do. Yeah, I'm preferring that. Let me just cut this down as a layer. And we're done. So you could add bling to this. Of course, I'm just going to make this standard card size. Thank you, Lynn. And then I've cut this down. So this is going to be 10 centimetres by 14.35. And that will fit as a layer between that and my base card. And then on the inside I'm going to stamp some more of that foliage. Let's just bring that back in. So this would be nice as a get well card as well, I think. Thank you, Joanne, and thank you, Lynn. So what I might do is just stamp this off first so that I've got a lighter version on the inside. Oh, I forgot my mat, never mind. Like so. And the same again. Oh, bless you. No worries, Anna. Thank you for popping in anyway. It's much appreciated. I do hope that you are keeping well. Okay, so I'm just going to add a few of those flowers, and again I'm going to stamp them off so that I've got a lighter version of them on the inside. So this one has got this little flower here, just so cute. That's that one, and then I have this one, little daisy in Gorgeous Grape, and again just stamping it off so it's a lighter edge. Pop that in there like that, and then I've got, I'm going to do this one in the mango. Put that there. There it is, hiding. Just make sure that's clean. It's amazing how much ink can stay on a stamp when you least want it to. Okay, just going to take my glasses off, and I'm going to pop this one like so, and again stamping off. It's very sweet in these softer colours, isn't it? Okay, all right, just put those layers together and we are done. So that's our inside. And then I've got a team Facebook Live at 8 o'clock, which I do weekly with my team, just to keep them informed as to what's going up and on in the Stampin' Up world. So the main thing from your point of view, for customers that are watching, is that our retiring sale finishes 2nd of May. You have free delivery on the 21st of April, that's this Thursday, but your order does need to be £60 or more to qualify for that, and that is on Thursday. So that is free delivery, and that applies to orders that are opened and closed on Thursday. So don't pre-prepare an order and then close it, because it won't, the free shipping won't apply. Any questions on that, just give me a shout. Okay, and there we are, there's my finished card. Thanks to Bill for the inspiration of doing it in portrait and having it a little bit further up. And so I've added a little bit of shading here, which I hadn't done previously, and added some birds as well. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me this evening. I will be back tomorrow morning, so that's Wednesday morning at 10 AM for another variation of this, and this time I'm going to be combining the greenhouse with some designer series paper. So I hope you're able to join me. Thank you so much. Thanks Brenda, Joanne, Zana, Lynn, Catherine, if you're still here, and anybody else who's watching who hasn't said hi, or if you're watching obviously on replay or on YouTube, then thank you so much for your support. I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. Bye for now.